Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for BroadwayWorld. Returning to Broadway is the worldwide phenomenon Les Miserables, which will open here at the Imperial Theatre on March 23rd. Cameron Mackintosh's stunning new production stars Ramin Karimloo, Will Swenson, and Casey Levy. And I caught up with the company during a break in their tech rehearsal. Congratulations. This is like
Thank you.
Your second day of tech here at the Imperial, right?
It is our second day of tech. So, and today's our first day in costume, starting at the beginning of the show. So the real work begins today.
How excited are you to be working on Les Mis?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm completely thrilled. I mean, I never thought that this would be a show for me, really anywhere, let alone on Broadway and a Broadway revival. So it's really, really a dream come true. I can't believe I'm making my Broadway debut with a show like this and a role like this. It's just, I couldn't ask for better.
Let's talk about the role. How well did you know the show before you went in for it?
I'd seen it a couple of times, but once was when I was very young, and I didn't grow up with it the way most people did. My parents didn't, have the cast album playing, and so I knew it. I knew sort of the hits from like the musical theater anthologies, but didn't know the show too well and didn't know the story too well. I'd never seen any of the other adaptations. Didn't read the book in school, so I feel like I'm really coming to it pretty fresh, which is nice.
Well, let's talk about this role. I mean, how well did you know the show beforehand?
Oh, incredibly well. I mean, that was my show growing up. I was like, Les Mis, I want to be an actor because of that show. It was that seminal musical for me. And I never, was able to be a part of it before. And I'm just thrilled that there's this new version, this new take on it, and this revival. And to get to play Javert in it is just awesome. It's the best character. He's, the best character is a bad guy who thinks he's the good guy.
So let's talk about what it's been like working on this so far with your directors and working with this company.
It's terrific. It's a huge advantage because our directors have been a part of the show. I mean, they as actors started in the original productions, and then they've put together a bunch of productions of it, so they know the show inside and out. And often you're discovering material together as a creative team and as actors, and these guys know the story and what works, the history of the show, and the variations of the show so much that they're just a treasure trove of answers. But that being said, they're completely open to reinvestigating and finding things that have never, been done before. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
What are you looking forward to the most with coming to Broadway with Les Mis?
I'm looking forward to just doing it in front of the audience. I find that Broadway audiences are so supportive. Also, my experience having done the show just in Toronto now is that people love the show. They just go nuts for it, and it's very special to be part of something like that. So I'm looking forward to working back in New York. And I found that New York was, when I was here before, was a very welcoming place. So I like that.
Okay. It's second day of tech. You're in the Imperial Theatre. How do you feel?
It's actually my first day. We weren't called yesterday. The Thenardiers weren't because they were working on the barricades. So I am trying to do this interview and then going, look at the stage, you guys. We're in Les Mis. I'm so excited. I really want to go look at the stage right now, but I can't. It's fine. Just stand here.
Tell me about your audition process.
It was hysterical because I went in on a fluke thinking, I don't know if they'll like any, you always do, you're like, I don't know if I'll do it. And then after that, I was paired up with a number of men to see if we could have some kind of chemistry together to play the couple. And we got Cliff. And he was in Toronto when we started rehearsals, doing the Toronto production. So I had to wait for a couple of weeks to actually have him to myself. But he showed up, obviously, and Ramin did, and a bunch of other people from our Toronto cast to join us. And we made a lot of good chemistry together, and still do. It's hysterical.
So let's talk about this. The first time you sang that iconic song, what do you remember about that?
Well, the first day of rehearsal, they made me get up and sing it in front of everyone, which was slightly horrifying, but a great way to start. It was like the Band-Aid was off, we're in Les Mis, let's do it. And it's a huge honor. I've loved the song forever. There's quite a lot of pressure around singing it if you focus on that, but what's been so lovely about this process is it hasn't been about making I Dreamed a Dream this big diva moment, this big musical theater moment. It's really about the character first and foremost, what she's going through. And I've tried to just examine it like a scene, and sometimes it's harder to get through than others. it's an incredibly emotional song, and I'm just trying to do it justice. I'm just trying to be as truthful as I can with it.
What was your last callback like? Did you have to fly to London?
I did have to fly to London, yes. Cameron wasn't able to come to New York for the final, so he flew a couple of us over, and I mean, it was great because I got to see some of my friends and sort of revisit my old haunts. But it was a wonderful audition. It was one of those magical auditions where, everything just clicks, and I knew shortly thereafter that I had been cast, and it was really thrilling.
Second day of tech, how do you feel?
Well, I put on hair and makeup today to see you, and then in 5 minutes I'm going to wipe it all off and become a dirty. So it's pretty great.
How excited are you to be working on this show?
I mean, I would be totally disingenuous if I didn't say I was super, 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 super excited. It's a dream come true. We're coming home to the Imperial Theatre, which is where I first saw this show, sitting in the second to last row of the mezzanine with my mom at a Wednesday matinee. We bought tickets at TKTS, 1995. I remember it was 95 because Shanice was playing Eponine, and she was the first black performer to play Eponine, and I'll be another black actress to play Eponine. And it's an incredible story, and I think it's a timeless story, which is why people love it so much. But there's a lot going on in our world that resembles what happens in the second act here when we build this barricade. The idea of revolution, the idea of change is sort of rife. It's just what's happening all over the world. You can't open the newspaper without seeing a picture that reminds you of, the barricade. So it's kind of really exciting.
So have they told you what a Broadway debut is like?
I've had some people talk to me about it. I've had like friends that talk to me about it because they're the ones that don't know about it. And I'm just kind of learning it as I go along. But I don't think I fully understand what's going to be happening in the next 3 weeks. But I'm ready for it. But I'm really excited to see it.
What's it been like in the theater? This is your second day of tech.
Second day of tech. The first day yesterday was amazing. The set is fantastic. We started with the beginning of Act 2 when we were doing the barricades, and it's just amazing to be on that thing. It's like a jungle gym, and I really love jungle gyms. Of course, as a kid, I used to climb them all the time. Now I can't because I'm too tall for them. But we're having a really great time in here. Our first day went swimmingly. It was smooth, and it was great.
Here we are. First of all, welcome to Broadway.
Thanks very
Your
much.
debut, how do you feel?
Very excited, very somewhat ready. It's weird. I'm surrounded by a lot of support, so it's not as much nerves as it is excitement.
Tell me what it's been like tackling this role, because you're not new to this. I mean, you've loved this role. Talk about what it's been like finding him, doing him in Toronto, and now coming here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I did it 3 months and then 4 months. So I haven't had a relatively long relationship with Jean Valjean. And each time there was a nice space between it, like between Toronto and London at least. So it gave me time to reflect, and you know how they say hindsight's a great teacher. So what I can bring here is sort of what I've gathered along the way, but then start again with this new company most of them have never done it before. So there's this real fresh set of eyes and energy on it, which I can only just get swallowed up in, which I love that, So it's a great show. It's shaping up to be pretty epic already.
I hear